far, it's been to New York, it's been to Chicago, it's been to LA, it's been to Puerto Rico, and it's been to well, the DMV areas, of course, and Florida.
Okay, so all your major cities, would you say like that your book would target the urban communities more?
I think that my target audience for this type of book would be anybody really.
Okay.
Anybody that's in our generation in this day and age, because people are they're desperate for things that they don't have. And I just think that if we change the way we think as a people, then our actions would be different. And that's what I strive to tell people all the time. I say, man, I'm trying to change the way people think, change their mindset, change their perception, because things happen a lot of times, but it's always a result of what we were thinking. Like, we'll do something and say, hey man, I ain't really like the results of that, but you thought about that before you even started. You see what I'm saying? So I always tell people, whatever God lay on me, that's what it is. And he'll get creative. He'll get amazing to me sometimes, because I'll say things like, when I'm writing, I'll say things like, okay God, I heard that. like as a conversation, when you have a relationship with him, you can talk to him pretty much however you feel is pleasing to you, really. So that's normally how I get his attention. He'll say something, or I'll just see something, or I'll go in the word and read and say, okay God, well, what's the quote for today? And what we going with, what we hashtagging. I have hashtags in my book too, by the way. My book has themes. It starts off with Spiritual Sundays, then it goes to Magnificent Mondays, then it goes to Thriving Tuesdays, Wise Wednesdays, Thankful Thursdays, and then Saturdays, Seeking Saturdays. So a lot of times when I write according to what the theme is. And one of my favorite quotes actually is everything in this life costs, but getting to know God is free. Hashtags Wise Wednesday. So it's just awesome how I'm able just to relate to people that's in our generation who need something that's straight to the point. You know what I'm
definitely.
saying? So yeah.
With your book being out, I remember you speaking earlier on a book company that was really interested in your writing.
Yeah.
So have you been seeking, or has anybody searched for you in collaboration works or with other book companies?
It was actually this one book company called Book World, and they were like really fascinated about really getting my book marketed to the right people and getting me interviews with a lot of different book companies. I have my book pretty much sold in bookstores, but what I've come to realize is that whether you go to a bookstore or not, you can still have access to my book. Like, you can get my book on Amazon, you can download it to your Kindle or your iPhone or your tablet. So wherever you go, my book is with you. But their pricing in which they wanted to do it was costing me more money than my actual publishing company. Okay. Because I didn't have to spend a lot of money to get my book published. And I think that's what people really didn't know. They thought I was putting out like thousands and thousands of dollars just for my book to be published. No, that first of all, my company don't do anything without my consent, number one. And then two, the money that it cost for me to publish the book, I made it back once I did like book signings and once people started ordering the book. So, and my company, they always ask, when they have stuff that's coming up, they'll ask me, hey, well, do you want your book to be a part of this, or would you like for your book to be a part of that? And I have the final say on what my book does. And my book was just recently a part of the LA Times Book Festival in April.
Wow.
So yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. So I really just think that when the right people come, then I'll respond. Yeah.
Okay. With all this action and build up towards this book, you mentioned that you were thinking about releasing a consecutive part 2.
Yes, part 2. Yeah.
So when can everybody expect that?
Expecting part 2. See, I love the anticipation of waiting. So I love to keep people on their toes. I love for people to just say, hey, well, let's just wait and see what her thought process is like for this one. But part 2 will be out the early part of next year. I'm not sure of the date nor the month yet, but I will say that it will be out before August of next year. Yep. And the theme for part 2 is evolution of words. So yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Ready?
Action.
My name is Franklin Roberson, and I am a self-published author from D.C. Run that back.
Action.
My name is Franklin Roberson, and I am a self-published author from D.C. I'm here to give y'all some inspirational insight on how I take flight with God's word to spread the word through my highly motivating book, Inspirational Quotes for Everyday Living, Part 1. Come get your daily dose of life quotes. God is amazing. He stands alone with no validation. He is his own accreditation. A few quotes that have touched me reads, everything in this life costs, but getting to know God is free. Hashtag Wise Wednesdays.
What do you think out of this whole writing process, you can say, what's the most challenging for you in terms of maybe that you didn't think would be challenging, or one of the things that you had to overcome while writing this book?
One of the things that I have to overcome with writing this would have to be the timing in which I would take to really sit down and say, hey, I'm going to be dedicated to getting this book out, and no matter what it takes, I'm going to get it done. But outside of me, starting to become a self-published author, I do also work, and at the time, I was still in school. So I was going back and forth, and I was just like, hey, well, we're going to do what we can, and we're going to see the end results. So I think the most challenging part was the timing of it, because everybody was like, well, when is the book coming out, and are you still writing, and what's the process, and what are you doing? So I was like, hold on, y'all, it's coming. So yeah, I would definitely say the timing of it.
Okay. Were you in school and working and writing the book at the same time?
I was not. Like when I was in school, my focus in school was mainly my studies.
Okay.
And being a musician, because I played the congos for one of the biggest organizations known to Virginia State University campus, Virginia State University Gospel Chorale. So if it wasn't traveling or if it wasn't performing, then I was doing work. I was writing papers. That was my hustle in school, writing papers for people, editing and stuff like that. So I was strictly on that. But when I came home from school, or when I was on break, I would say, hey, okay, quote here, quote there, quote there. And before you know it, I had like a month done in like a couple weeks.
Wow.
And now what I would do normally is I would go to sleep and wake up 2-3 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, okay, God must got something to say, because he waking me up this early in the morning. And so sometimes when I go through a lot, or when I'm just thinking about stuff, God will just flat out just lay like quotes in my heart for like a week's time. So it can be Sunday, and I could write quotes for that entire week that same night.
Wow.
So it's just amazing, because I believe that whatever God puts in me, that he's giving it to me to give to his people, and it's nothing like his word. So that's normally how that happens too. Yep.
So
Jasmine Roberson, and I work for the Department of Parks and Recreation, but I work in the teen office and with the hands on the feet.
folks, thank you for being with us on Inspirational Quotes for Everyday Living Part 1 interview with myself, Micah Ducan, and Jasmine Roberson. Inspired to be inspired, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.